Zhang Wei Li is furious.
He's upset. 100%.
Oh, on a Sunday up in the Catskill Mountains. How the hell you doing? Welcome in everyone to a brand new edition of Axe Kick Picks, episode 142. Today is Sunday, September 29th, 2024. Joe, service ain't the best up here, but I'll tell you what is the view. It is absolutely breathtaking up here. But how you doing? How's South Carolina treating you?
Doing well. Yeah, weather's gotten a lot better. Yeah, we're hitting fall now. We're actually getting another season in, so everything feels good down here. And coming off an eventful weekend, but all steam ahead to UFC 307, baby. We're right here. It happened so quick.
Gotta let your brother know that the Delta Center, Salt Lake City. I mean, it's gonna be a scene. Alex Pereira versus Khalil Roundtree headlining it. But by the way, down in South Carolina, I haven't been down there in the fall. Change of colors in the leaves, not like up north, right?
Be a little less where I am towards the beach, but if you go, towards the mountainous area, yes, of course, yeah.
Have you been to the Smoky Mountains?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
it absolutely is. Fall's the best time of the year. But yeah, Joe, like I said, we are full steam ahead to UFC 307. We had an eventful weekend, UFC Paris. Alicia Baumgartner got the knockout. I want to talk about the crazy incident between Michaela Meyer and Sandy Ryan. Whatever happened before the fight. Fucking crazy. 10 second stuff we'll touch on as well. Dana White Contender Series Week 8 goes off this. I think it's October 1st. I think that is the date for Tuesday. Yeah. And we got some news and bits a little towards the end of the show. But Joe, I do want to start in Paris. I mean, the crowd was electric. It was rocking. You said it before. You said it before. It's always so fucking good. Whenever they go back after the fight, they did say, we are scheduling to come back to Europe, and they have to. I mean, the crowd was just enormous. And the French, they actually did really good up until the main event. Here comes Money Moicano, baby. Great call. I mean, hitting the underdog. I think he was a 2-1 underdog. I thought I saw him at plus 215. I saw plus 230s out there as well. So whoever hit and listened to Joe, good on you. I mean, I know it was an ugly stoppage and people really didn't want to see it, but that was a 10-8 first round. And Money Moicano really laid it on him in the first round. What's your thoughts of Money Moicano?
Yeah, couldn't afford to lose, Yeah, he explained it very well and put it in a nutshell. I mean, it was a good performance, man. And Benoit Saint-Denis looked like he went through 5 rounds of hell in only a matter of a round. Like, that was crazy to see. So not often a guy who doesn't have that long of a fight career have that much scar tissue, I guess, him training in the military may have, been through his fair share of battles. So, shout out him for main eventing here in Paris. But man, it was all about Money Moicano. I mean, he looked great, dude. The post-fight interview, fantabulous. I couldn't even think of a word how to describe how good of a octagon interview that was. It was just everything he spoke of. And how do you get cheered up when you're like cursing out the country, like the government, like and spiting them? So it was a fantastic main event, honestly.
I mean, an incredible toughness as well, because Kevin Iola of I think it's MMA Junkie or MMA Fighting. He was a sports journalist, MMA journalist. He came out and released that he had x-rays. Money Moicano fought the whole second round with a severe damaged shoulder. He had a separated shoulder through that whole second round. And I think that's why he kind of took his foot off the gas a little bit. And you saw it kind of just, kind of sparring with BSD in that second round. But incredible toughness. I don't know if you caught wind of that injury.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, but on both sides. That's why I'm glad I mentioned that in the main event, man. It was a tough, durable main event. We love using those words to describe these fighters, and that's what you got there. Man, it was tough to see. Like, that thing was like completely out in a position I'd never seen before the bone. So yeah, we'll see them recover and get back, because I think the whole night was rather good, entertaining. Like, this was actually a very entertaining card. The crowd was in it. Just every fight was very good.
Yeah, 100%. And, Money Moicano will stick on him for a little bit. I mean, his last 6 fights at 155, he submitted Jai Herbert. He submitted Alexander Hernandez. He submitted Brad Riddell. He got the decision over Drew Dober. He knocked out Jalen Turner. He got the TKO against BSD. I mean, I know he called out Paddy Pimblin, or maybe Who else? Dan Hooker. I know Dan Hooker's looking for a fight as well. He called out a few guys. How many more is he from a title? I was going to say maybe at least 2 more.
Yeah, I mean, who could you throw in there? Like, is this Gamrot coming off of a fight? Make sense? I mean, something like that, or is that not big enough of a jump for you? You know?
Well, he's looking at 11, and Matus Gamrot is sitting at number 8. You got Benel Dariush at 7,
And
Michael
Benny's still there.
Chandler.
Yeah.
Yeah, Michael Chandler at 5. I think that's a little big of a jump, but I think Manny Marcano is game if he wants to make that jump up to number 5.
Yeah, I think it's got to be between those two guys, maybe if they don't have a match made, and then a top 5 matchup.
And on the other side with BSD, it's a tough break for him. That's 2 in a row now. You got to imagine. I mean, he was number 12 coming into this fight. I think he drops out of the 15. I think he needs a little break.
He needs to drop out of it. I think, unfortunately for him. But yeah, I mean, that's all I got for BSD. I think you're right. You hit it right on the head. But yeah, back to Moicano. He did say though he doesn't want to have hard fights, so he was not really interested in moving up in the weight class. He said he'd give me easy fights. He wants to make a lot of money.
Yeah,
and I can agree with that at his age, if that's what he wants to do as well. That's why I was kind of hesitant on saying either guy, because it's like, you know what, he could just fight back and kind of, like we said, it's not a bad word to be called a gatekeeper in a sense. He could be a litmus test for a lot of guys, and he's a tricky puzzle to solve now, especially with 2 TKOs in a row. Who saw that coming? Reinventing himself, getting these finishes on the feet where he's never had the KO or TKO finishes before. So just simply stuff of legends.
Yeah, shout out Money Marcano. I know he was looking for the bonus tonight, but we'll get to all the 4 bonuses that was handed out. But he said, hey, a 10-8 round against a Frenchman doesn't get it. I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, shout out to Hanay Moicano. That's 6 in a row now at lightweight. So definitely moving up. He'll be in the top 10 come Tuesday. So shout out him. And BSD, we gotta build him back up in a sense, because it's 2 losses, tough losses too, so we'll see. I think he needs a little break. But let's go to the co-main event, because in the middleweight bout we did have Nassourdine Imavov. He did beat Brendan Allen by unanimous decision. And starting off, I was like, oh shit, Brendan Allen got that takedown very easily in that first round. It was 1-1 going into the 3rd round, in my opinion, and I thought Nassourdine did just enough striking wise to get the win.
He edged it out. Yeah. Just a little more convincing on his part. It was a good co-main event. I guess you could see why it wasn't, the main event in sorts, but it was an entertaining fight. It was a close one. And I think neither guy, lose too much stock. But with Imavov, you clearly can't deny him, right? You can't deny him too much where he's at with all these wins he's compiling, regardless of how he's getting them done. I mean, is he deserve a title shot? I don't know.
I don't know either. I know a lot of people were talking about they want him and Izzy. I like that fight. Don't get me wrong. I love that fight. He said he would love a rematch with Sean Strickland. I like that as well. I think those are the number 1 and 2. I know people were mentioning Khamzat Chimaev, but Nassourdine came out and said, I train with him. I think of Khamzat as a friend, so I don't want to fight him. So I don't know how the boss is going to think about that, but I do
want that.
I do like Sean Strickland rematch or Izzy fight. What do you think?
I mean, honestly, there's a couple opponents we think could fight with Izzy. It's just if he's going to be willing to do that, doesn't want to take any more hits, and I don't blame him. And he can still make good fights for the upper echelon part of the roster. So I don't know. I think we may need to see a couple middleweight fights break out, and then we could probably make sense of it. You got Kyle Barao, in the mix there. So there's, I think, many ways they could skin a cat in the middleweight division.
Yeah, 100%. But the future is definitely bright for the Frenchman Nassourdine Imavov. Now with Brendan Allen, first of all, did you hear what he said about
the beforehand, like the French were making him like take a urine and blood sample and like
only him and Moicano.
Yeah, the most important guys in the card. That was a valid point. I was wondering why nobody was speaking on it, but except, of course, us, the social media, we were getting it out there.
Yeah, 100%. I thought that was very weird that the country France would make them do that. So kind of fucked up. I thought it, having over 40 professional fights in other countries, in the States as well, and no one had to do that, and they were drained already.
This is going to be a big step up for Brendan Allen, and now I know with all the circumstances, I wonder what's in store for him next, because is it a
It's
ranked
definitely
guy?
a step back, though.
Yeah, is it a ranked guy? Is there a dark horse unranked guy that he's gonna have to fight next? Like, I don't necessarily know.
Do you think they pair him up with another striker? Because I think that's where he needs to work on. I don't doubt his ground game and his BJJ. It's the striking ability of Brandon Allen. I think that's where he lost this fight. Do you fight Apollo Costa? Do you fight Anthony fucking Hernandez? I mean, there are a bunch
Chris
of
Curtis
guys.
rematch.
Yeah, or Chris
On a
Curtis
full
rematch
camp.
as well. Chris Curtis is hungry right there,
On a
sitting
full
at number
camp,
50.
I think, because Chris Curtis stepped in and did him a favor, so maybe you return it.
Yeah, that's a great call. That's a really good call. So yeah, maybe look towards a Chris Curtis fight. But yeah, unfortunately, definitely a step back for Brandon Allen. And after a loss like that, long trip home back to Louisiana. Very interesting. I mean, call me a hand up. I was just wrong. I thought Joe Anderson Brito was going to knock this guy out. But shout out William Gomes getting the split decision at home, 29-28. I thought he did enough to actually win the fight as well, even though I had money on Brito. But big win for William Gomes.
Yeah, shocked a lot of people, killed a lot of parlays. That definitely was the case for this fight. Yeah, I don't think a lot of people expected that. He did what he needed to do, especially coming off of that, that weight cut. We talked about it, him getting sick and being even 3 pounds under and just not looking good coming off the scale. Yeah, in this return, he looked good and he got the job done. Not a lot of people expected it. It probably ruined a lot of people's nights. So yeah, good for him.
100%. And I think my favorite fight of the night, and honestly, the best promo I've ever fucking seen. It honestly, Joe, it sounded like I told you I was watching the Vince McMahon thing.
Yes.
It kind of looked like a promo from WCW.
It was more heel, and it did do a more effect towards the crowd than Renato Moicano. And like I said, even though if you really understood what he was saying, it was more intricate and more thoughtful. Bryan Battles was just
he went full heel, throwing up the
heel.
double bird. I mean, promo of the year candidate. When we do our awards at the end of the year, make sure this is in contention, because throwing up the double bird straight out of 1984. I thought Bryan Battle was just WCW going crazy. I loved it.
You don't want to get in a firefight with this guy.
No,
because he comes out on top every time there's a crazy exchange. He's dangerous. Bryan Battle is for real, bro.
Yeah, and I'm so glad he got the performance of the night. $50K goes to the kid from Charlotte, North Carolina. Bryan Battle, congratulations. Gabriel Miranda, I mean, he got knocked out too. I mean, that was just bad. So shout out. Did you get this one right?
I took the dog. No, I took Miranda. I'm glad you said his name. And Marvin Cherry, he came back off of that loss, and he did work. Sorry, the dogs are barking.
The dogs
they weren't barking though in that spot.
No, not in that spot. It was right on cue too. But unfortunately for our Strong Island guy, Matty Fervola, what a knockout. I mean, for Estazim, I mean, what a knee to the mouth. He was knocked out right there, and then he had those 2 extra blows for the cherry on top. It was good to see Matty and Ray Longo in the ambulance. They were taken care of. Quote, "I live and I die by the sword." And, say what you want about Matt Fervola, he will put on an entertaining fight anytime, anywhere.
Yeah, dude. That's exactly right. To get it to how it was, that kind of a back and forth exchange, just the 3rd round when you're exhausted, you went all out right up against the cage where you have nowhere to go. Faraz Ziam, definitely getting candidate for knockout of the night. That was a big thing for his career. Speaking about Faraz Ziam to this guy, man, that meant a lot. I didn't expect that. That thing was wicked. It was it felt like a WWE move, man, like a shining wizard, type move. I think it was sick.
Oh, it was insane. And I feel bad for him. I think we were there the last time he won against Drew Dober at 288 in Newark. So kind of on a skid. I really would love, because I got a lot of love for Matty. I would want him to take a break, refocus, go back home. He just had a kid, spend time with your child. And you know what? Map up a new game plan. And because I think he's becoming a little too predictable. Don't you?
Can incorporate some of that wrestling, and they have great jiu-jitsu coming out of the camp. So like you said, recover, rest the brain, and come back, incorporating the takedowns. And I'm sure you'll find submissions. He's probably
100%.
got some really strong wrestling.
And you mentioned it earlier, featured prelim, Ian Kutalabe. I thought he was when his IQ and his precision and his cardio is on point.
That
Ian
power is fearful.
Yeah, and we always know he's going to come with the power. I mean,
Yeah.
we always say that's the last thing to go, but he's a dark horse. If he could put everything together and stay consistent, I like Ian Kutalabe.
Yeah, and works on the strength and conditioning and gets that conditioning up and he doesn't have to throw all the power into every shot, and that's what does get him gassed. And I think to a fault, him having the power, it does that. He falls in love with it, but it was a good performance from him. And yeah, like I said, I was more confident taking him than the other guy. You don't know the level of competition that he's fought, and yeah, you're hungry coming into UFC. But looking back at like a lot of guys that we have high expectations on, don't do well in their debut, performance of the UFC. It's just you get to the show, and the lights are the brightest, and sometimes the nerves get to you.
Yeah, and then after that, we just had a bunch of unanimous decisions.
Yeah, pretty convincing ones though.
Umar Sy, he was good.
Starting all the way with all the decisions. Ayin Perez, Fiona with the twerk in the face, that made me hit the parlay for you guys because I had all of those heavy favorites consecutively, even though they were all decisions.
I know she's getting a lot of bad rep for what she did. Little unsportsmanlike a little bit, or are you fine with it?
It's the fight game. It's hilarious. It was fucking fantastic. I love it.
I loved it too. I know a lot of people didn't like it.
I don't care. No, yeah, it was great. Like I can understand more sports, but it's also, we got to realize this. It's her trademark. It really is. We associate the twerking to her and her alone pretty much. So it's
I hope her and Merab go together because we saw Merab. He was like kind of slapping.
Traveled all the way to Paris, France for the. That's hilarious.
But she's a little dark horse in that bantamweight division. Yeah, we got Rocky and Juliana Pena fighting next week, so we'll figure out. And Kayla Harrison actually as well. Caitlin Vieira, the #1 contenders fight as well. But Aline Perez sitting at 15. Maybe you get a Miesha Tate at 11. I think a Miesha Tate on her resume would look really good, even though she's in the tail end of her career. It doesn't matter.
What is this, 135?
Yeah, bantamweight.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. I mean, to Miesha Tate, I don't know if you want to take that fight, Miesha Tate, though. Miesha Tate probably want to take that, I mean, there's a lot to do. I really feel like actually a lot of fights can be made. It just depends on how high you want to have her jump. So maybe just go for number 10 and get her in the top 10. Yana Santos has anything matched up, you can have her take on Perez.
And overall, I thought the card was great. Opened up in a banger with a submission from Chris Duncan. And, we talked about him. He was like, hey, he needs this fight. This is a big one for him. They put him all the way down and to open the card. And he came out and he showed up. And I'm glad because he got a performance of the night as well.
Yeah, I should have trusted him, man. Yeah, shout out Chris Duncan. Yeah, he made Scotland proud there with that submission. That was sick, man.
But overall, great card, great crowd. Love when they do these fight nights overseas, especially in a place like Paris, France. Overall, go 2-2 on the night. Didn't hit in the main event. Got the over 2.5. If you wanted to sprinkle on Fight Goes the Distance, that hit as well in the co-main event. Brito, bust. And Brian Battle, he showed out and delivered. So 2-2 on the night for me. How did you do, kid?
I went 10-4. I did touch a lot. I touched the entire card, man. And 2 wrong in the main card, 2 wrong in the prelim. To start the card, I started off horrible. I faded Chris Duncan, which, shame on me. And Jacqueline Cavalcante has Nora Cornelli figured out. That's 2 wins over her. So that is not a rivalry. She, owns that.
Yeah.
So, and I get and faded American Cherry. He didn't hit. And then, Joanderson Brito. So kind of 2 surprises, but not bad. Maybe go 1-1 on the parlays for you. So the Brazilian one didn't hit, but the favorites I mentioned in the prelims, they did.
Yeah, it was great. Leading the show as usual, Joe. So thank you as well. Michaela Meyer, she got a decision win. Good call on that. Alicia Bumgarner, shout out her. She got the knockout win. I do want to touch on it because it was a bizarre situation overnight. Michaela Meyer, she did beat Sandy Ryan by majority decision. I watched it back to her. I thought it was a thriller to win the WBO welterweight world title. But as she left for her hotel pre-fight, it's crazy. Sandy Ryan was attacked by someone who threw a can of paint at her. She insisted it was someone in the Michaela Meyer team. Yeah. So this is the statement from Sandy Ryan after she was attacked by someone who threw the can of paint at her. She left the hotel before, and then she obviously lost to Michaela that night. She goes, quote, "Still trying to come with terms to what happened last night. I know I shouldn't have fought after I was attacked leaving my hotel, but I couldn't let them win. I was fighting empty, and I still feel like I won. We have obtained the CCTV and are in contact with the NYPD. Pretty obvious what happened, and the truth will be set free shortly. You tried to ruin my career, but trust me, it has only begun."
Well, yeah, hopefully she gets justice,
That's fucking crazy, though, is it not?
For the Meyer camp that they wouldn't stoop to that level, but I guess anything's possible.
Anything's possible in the fight game. I mean,
yeah, so it could be, but
if it is from the Michaela Meyer team, do they run it back? They have to.
I mean, maybe run it back. Maybe this would do something to the decision. I don't know if they can go back to the commission and do anything like that. And maybe you don't fight again. You just do something in that regards. Like sometimes less is more. And that I don't know what to make of it, but yeah, that's just a crazy situation, man.
Yeah, if I'm Sandy Ryan, I definitely want that ick back or that lick back. So definitely want that as well. So it was just a crazy incident. I wanted to touch on that real quick. But shout out Alicia Bumgarner as well. She gets the KO victory. 10 seconds left. Risen, how did you do, kid?
Yeah, I went 1-1. I faded Roberto de Souza in the main event, and unfortunate on me. I like the jiu-jitsu guys, but he got that KO in early business. Got the killer Luis Gustavo out there. Just wasn't perfect, but we go 1-1 again, and I'll have something for us for UFC 307. I'm thinking I'm gonna double down for 10 seconds left come this Friday.
That's good, but overall, what'd you do? 10, 12, 13-4, 13-3, something like that. 13-5. Overall?
I mean, yeah. I guess you could say even with the parlays, that'd be 6 losses total and 12 wins, so 12-6.
12-6, yeah, up a couple units, attaboy. So yeah, we made you money. Oh, Joey definitely made you some monies this weekend. So you guys, all it takes is just to listen, subscribe, that's all it takes, kid. But yeah, before we get into, Joey's over 500 Dana White Contender Series, just 3 weeks left. We are on to week 8. But before we do that, a quick word from our sponsor. We are brought to you each and every episode by Viva Tequila Seltzer, the most refreshing hard seltzer on the market, hands down. There's no wonder why Viva was voted #1 hard seltzer in the world by San Francisco World Spirit Competition. With only 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and a light 4.5 ABV, Viva is the perfect drink for your post-game celebration, as it was created with that active lifestyle in mind. We flavor tequila seltzer because flavor is the spice of life, and we like our drinks with just a kick, just like how we like our lives. Whether it's Huckleberry playing around a golf or a new flavor coconut up here in the Cascades, it doesn't matter. Our flavors pair perfectly with that artisanal Blanco tequila for that subtle and refreshing drink. Our belief here at Axe Kick Picks and at Viva is to live long, live well, and live it up. All right, Joe, Dana White Contender Series, October 1st, this Tuesday, 8 p.m. on ESPN Plus. Starts off in the the light heavyweight division, and it ends against an American undefeated Jacoby Smith taking on Christian Savoy, Canadian 10-1.
Yeah, that's who it starts with. I thought that's the first fight of the night because I thought
Tapology had it different. Okay, the main event is different then. Okay,
I have the welterweight division, exactly who you mentioned. Oklahoma State ex-wrestler, man, champ and undefeated MMA prospect Jacoby Smith is taking on Christian Savoy. Yeah, I'm gonna take the American. I see Christian Savoy being a Canadian and having some good experience in mixed martial arts, but just not going to be able to compete with that level of wrestling that Jacoby Smith's going to offer. And it does seem he has hands as well. So got to go with Jacoby Smith in the Dana White Contender Series to open it up. USA. Yo, do you recognize this next fight here? I mean, who's in this next fight? That's crazy. I didn't understand this. I mean, I guess that they have to call him on last minute notice to step in because I thought Dana White wanted Torres Finney to go out and find other fights, get a couple fights under his belt and then come back. But I mean, he's right back in here again, looking to get a win over Abdullah El Rami. And I'm going to go with Torres Finney. I don't see why I wouldn't go with him. And I think that, a third time's a charm, right? He tried it once, didn't get in, tried it just so recently this season. let's go with third time's a charm. I'm gonna go with the Punisher, Torres Finney.
And the dogs aren't barking for this one.
No, and then we got the featured bout right here in the bantamweight division, man. David Martinez looks to be a very competitive young prospect here, coming out of Mexico. 10-1 record. I mean, just everything about him speaks like he could be a stand-up like competitor. He's got finishes nonstop, man. So Xavier Franklin, though he's undefeated, I just think the level of experience isn't there. So give me David Martinez fighting a higher level competition and more of it. The Black Spartan is who I'm going to ride with. Let's get what Dana White wants to get, more Mexican athletes into the fight game. So right there, we get that done. And we'll move into the co-main event. It's in the featherweight division. Albert Montes, he wanted to get here last time before. Didn't have a chance to. Fight got canceled last minute, and he's back. And so he's trying his luck again, hoping to win against Carlos Calderon. Carlos Calderon, I actually like this dude a lot. But I just think Alberto Montes was here before, and it's maybe his time to get it here. So I'm going to go with Alberto Montes. I've been looking for some footage on both of these guys, and I just like a little bit more of what I'm seeing out of Montez's camp with the submissions. Even though Calderon does have hands, I bias towards my grappler. So give me the promise Alberto Montes in the co-main event. And then, like you said, the light heavyweight division has, I think, a new guy. I'm going to just say it right up. I'm going to take Nergazai. DR Nergazai, I think, is going to take out the veteran Bartosz Zuski.
Can I buy a vowel?
Yeah, Bartosz Zuski. I just don't think that he's going to, be able to compete with the level of wrestling that the Kazakhstanian has. So, yeah, Nergazai is going to be my pick in the main event. So that'll wrap up week 8 of the Dana White Contender Series, right? Week 8, we have 2 more left after this.
Yes, sir.
It's coming quick.
Coming quick and heavy at you, but hey, let's go 4-1 or 5-0 this week, kid. Yeah. What do you say, huh?
Undefeated. Why are you even get a loss? No,
yeah, exactly. 5-0. Fuck it, let's do it. But Joe, thank you so much. Yeah, and that, like I said, that goes down October 1st, Tuesday, 8:00 on ESPN and ESPN Plus. Little news before we get you out of here. Our boy Nicholas Dalby. I mean, they had to put him on the best card of the year. UFC Vegas 100. Against Zaleski dos Santos.
Nice fight.
Yeah, November 9th at the Apex UFC 100. Biggest card of the year, kid.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, that's a great fight for it. Yeah, I think they're going to actually low-key build a sneaky card for UFC Vegas.
I do too. I mean, they have to, bro. They have to.
They're still celebrating. Indoor fireworks, pyro for the entrance. I don't know.
Also, shout out Diego Lopez. He is getting rewarded. He's the backup fighter for the featherweight title fight between Ilia Topuria and Max Holloway at 308.
He's stepping in, and I think he's so dangerous, bro. You don't want to fight him if he had to step in.
My question to you now, though, is because I guess I was wrong. Because I thought, regardless of who won, I thought they were going to give it to Volkanovski, but it looks like Diego Lopez is the guy.
I told you.
Yeah.
I just think that Volk, he could be moving on to other things in his career, outside of fighting, not even just fighting alone. He may be moving up a weight class. I know he might be a little small, but mind you, dude was playing rugby at 210, 225 pounds. Dude was a unit. So Volk isn't afraid of anything.
No, and we saw him go back to 155 and fight there twice. Try to knock off Islam. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me that he probably next fight will be at 155. So I thought that was credit him, and Diego Lopez, he'll definitely make weight.
Less of a weight cut for him.
Yeah, definitely. So unfortunately, we got some bad news. Waldo Cortez Acosta is out versus Chris Barnett. Chris Barnett will now take on Junior Tafa, UFC Vegas 98 on 2 weeks' notice. Do you like this step in?
Brother who stepped up again. Yeah, one of the Tafa brothers stepping up on short notice, bro. I like the fight. Yeah, Huggy Bear Barnett's going to bring it, and he will as well. So we got a stand-up war, a little tricks up one sleeve, and traditional knockout power on the other. So we'll see who comes out on top.
Yeah, I was really interested to see Chris Barnett and Elvis's cousin Cortez Acosta.
Yeah, throwing fastballs.
Just throwing 90 miles an hour at you. And then, I said last episode on Friday that Movsar Evloev is back in Russia, but the day later, they were able to reschedule. Aljamain Sterling and Movsar Evloev will take place December 10th at the T-Mobile Arena, UFC 310. Are you glad that they just rebooked it?
They're doing it at 310.
Yeah, instead of
not 30. Okay, so yeah, yes, absolutely. I think that's a fight that needs to happen. you know.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that they're sticking with it, and they're both of them are gonna say, you know what, we'll get it done just at a later date.
Do you lean Aljo or do you lean the undefeated fighter?
I don't know. Aljo's the one who had to pull out because he was quote unquote injured, right?
Correct.
So does that mean he had a little more time to recover and a little more rehab time and not as much time to be committed to the game? But they were cutting weight, right? I think a little bit, probably already starting to kind of eat right. I mean, it's not that they weren't always being right, but just, you know, cutting back a little bit more as they were getting closer to the weigh-ins. Man, I do like Aljo in this new weight division, and getting over Evelev is just a massive step towards that title. And man, it could happen. So I want to stay with Aljo. I am, as much as Evelev could get it done, and then he's right there.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with Aljo.
If Aljo goes out there and beats him or finishes him, a guy who's undefeated, I think he might be one away. I think he's very close to maybe fighting a Diego Lopez. So we'll see.
Wow.
But yeah, big fight there for 310. And then lastly, we got some boxing news before we get up out of here. Devin Haney has now filed a lawsuit against our boy Ryan Garcia, alleging battery fraud and unjust enrichment, reflecting to their fight in April down at the Barclays Center, which overturned to a no contest after Garcia failed multiple drug tests and was given a 1-year ban. Devin Haney is seeking punitive damages, and the lawsuit alleges Haney suffered damages in that he suffered physical
He's going to pay
injury.
him his entire purse.
Yeah, and which will amount to millions of dollars and emotional and mental distress, end quote. My question was it Mr. Haney, Devin Haney's father, the one saying we are going to kill Ryan Garcia and make him never box again?
Yeah, and didn't they put the money up for the weight? They're the ones that initiated the money exchange for the weight clause, right? They were like, each million for how much each pound, right? I mean, I don't know.
It was like I think it was like 150,000 for each.
It was more than that. I feel like 500,000 at least for each pound overweight.
How obsessed they are with Ryan Garcia, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, they might win the lawsuit. That's how crazy it
will. I mean, everyone. I don't want to play conspiracy, but like everyone is against Ryan Garcia. Everyone. It's actually insane. I wanted to quote something because I just thought it was funny. Gervonta Davis had a maybe he deleted it, but anyway, so I don't know. I just think it's funny how David David Haney and his father were so adamant about getting Ryan Garcia out of the sport. It's like
a bad look for boxing.
Yeah,
a lot of
100%.
infighting. It just doesn't make sense. They're already fighting, so why do we have to even go towards that level?
100%. So, but Joe, that's all I got for you here on a Sunday. I will see you on Friday. Before I let you go, did you catch that Bama Georgia game?
Yes,
game
of course I did.
year?
Yeah, there was no other game to watch.
Yeah, literally.
It was great because it was fights and then football.
Yeah, it was a perfect Saturday.
Yeah.
Real quick, lock of the week. What do you got for football? Jets laying the 7.5. A revenge game for Zach Wilson at MetLife, kid.
Damn, dude. Oh, he's playing?
No. It's Bo Nix. Yeah. But anything you like here before we get out of here?
I just hope my fantasy team continues to be undefeated. You know, man. Let's see. I don't know, man. What the Steelers again? I mentioned the Steelers last week against the Chargers. They beat them, so I mean now they're going to play the Colts. Could Anthony Richardson go off, right, or could he just get absolutely shut down again? And
Russ is out again 4 weeks in a row.
Steelers might wind up be the only undefeated team. That's maybe why I mentioned them.
Hot take of the weekend: Steelers only remain undefeated team.
How about that? Yeah. After this week, the only undefeated because the Seahawks play on Monday night. They'll lose right at Detroit. And what's the other undefeated teams? Can you hit me up real quick while we have time? Chiefs. And they play LA.
Yeah, so I think they'll win.
Yeah, but how about even though they it's like a low scoring game, they lose on some blunder. Like they're having a horrible season, right? Like him and Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce having a bad season. Nobody's clicking. It's a low scoring affair. Chargers win without even scoring many touchdowns, and it's like 16-15 Chargers, like or 17, 16 Chargers.
My bet. Ravens Sunday Night Football. Either pick them on the money line or the Bills.
Oh, so the Bills are undefeated, right?
Yeah, 3-0.
So you say if the Ravens would have to win as well. That's
Yeah.
another one, right?
No,
So,
I got the Ravens winning.
yeah, there you go. So that's another undefeated team, though. The
Yep.
Bills that would have to lose for the Steelers to be the only team. That's what I was saying. Name all the undefeated teams right now. I think the other one, like I said, is the Seahawks. You said the Bills, the Chiefs, and the Steelers. That's it.
Steelers, correct.
So
Yes, sir.
Steelers.
Oh, no. And Sam Darnold and the Vikings, 3-0.
Oh, who are they playing?
They are playing Green Bay, and Jordan Love is activated.
Is he going to start?
Yes. Over Malik Willis?
Ooh, I don't know, man. Here comes Malik Willis coming back in and still lighting it up. So
Imagine
they would
that.
have to lose too. The Vikings would have to lose too.
And it's
so.
just so fitting that we end on a French coach, Matt LaFleur.
Good Lord.
Good luck. God bless. And we'll see you guys.